Common Sense is a deep analysis to global and socio-economical issues from the point of view of real people in real time. From the Sunshine State, this is Common Sense with Lex Marshall and JT.
Welcome to Common Sense, the podcast. And we are in the middle of the hurricane, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it a tropical storm or a hurricane right now?
I don't know.
I think they get ready to tropical storm.
Hi, transmitting from Sarasota, Florida, to the whole United States and Latin America.
To the world.
To the world.
Nah, just Latin America. This is Common Sense with Lex Marshall and JT and Jay Cooper. How you guys doing? There you go. That's
Always.
the thing you like.
Always the applause. Thank you. Thank you.
Makes you feel like more professional.
Makes me feel like I'm important and beloved.
So we're in the middle of the hurricane, and I don't see anything.
Not yet. It's about 11 a.m.
Okay, just for people in the world, like we live in Florida, and by the Tampa Bay, about 50 miles from Tampa Bay area, and we get hit with hurricanes every single year. So this is kind of normal for us. We watch the storms and we prepare for whatever happens. And this is every summer we go through this every year.
Yeah, and some areas going to get hit
Messed
pretty
up,
bad.
fucked up.
It's like every year, whether it's New Orleans or Texas or here, somebody's going to get screwed over by the Pacific or Gulf.
So luckily, this area hasn't been hit in a while, knock on wood. But we've been lucky, but other areas are not that lucky and they got fucked up. And
It kind of feels like it's only a
pretty
matter
lucky.
of time, right?
yeah, well, Tampa Bay is on, I think it is due soon. And if it ever gets hit by hurricane, it's going to be a major disaster. Let me check.
We're surrounded by water.
It could be a small town too. Sometimes it's small towns.
So,
Or maybe the predictions are wrong, and that's why every time we missed it.
it's just, those are just unpredictable things that you can't really... See, the good thing is I mean, if it's a good thing, is that hurricanes give you time to prepare more than like a tornado or earthquake. You know, those things are...
Unpredictable?
Yeah.
Unpredictable?
It's just like, bam, you know.
Hey, what's that sound?
I'm trying to get the news, but...
Oh, okay.
Like it looks like it's like going towards Texas now. So I think the path is like doing the landfall by Ocala. It's a little bit more north. Mm-hmm. Ocala in Gainesville.
Would you rather have to deal with hurricanes or fires? I think hurricanes probably, right?
I think hurricanes are more manageable.
Yeah.
But I think the wildfires are man-made. That's what I think.
No,
Some of them were like a mistake where someone started a fire.
It's way back into open water,
super
the Florida
dry,
Straits,
so
and it's moving to the northwest. It has
could be
strengthened a bit
lightning,
from the
could
last
be
observation.
any
So
number of
it's
things.
a pretty powerful tropical storm as it moves to the north and eventually to the northeast over the next couple of days. Look at the path here of Elsa's eye. It's going to be affecting the southwest coast of Florida, especially into Tuesday, and then by Wednesday it should make landfall north of Tampa before it eventually makes its way into the Carolinas on Thursday. So a lot of folks will be impacted here. We have tropical storm watches and warnings pretty much covering the entire west coast of Florida all the way up into the Big Bend. As you head farther into the Panhandle, you won't see many effects at all because most of the effects with Elsa are going to be...
So it's projected to landfall by North Tampa. I like Ocala and Gainesville, all those. I mean, but this is like every year, man. Every year we have these things going on. And
For
right
multiple months, it's not just one. They just keep
So
coming.
it's
And this
October. It's all the season. It's every year
season
season.
starts. So, and this is earlier than it usually starts.
So, do you guys think that this is one of the phenomenons caused by climate change?
Yeah, definitely.
But we have hurricanes like since forever.
Yeah, but there's more now. It used to be like every couple of years there would be like a
I-
serious
ever,
one.
ever since I moved to Florida, I mean, I'm here for like the last 20 years, and we always have hurricanes since day one.
Yeah, but I think the number and severity have been increasing, correct?
No, I remember those messed up ones back in the day, like Hurricane Andrew. It was big. Right? It was like 20 years ago.
Well, yeah, 3 years ago. I'm not
20.
talking. Oh, 20 years
Yeah.
ago. Oh, okay. I don't know.
I just don't think the hurricanes have.
Has to do something with the climate change.
Yeah. I mean, another things could be. I think could be a little bit of it, but not a lot. I don't think climate change has an effect on hurricanes. Maybe, I don't know. You guys tell me.
I'm looking it up.
But do you believe in the climate change, or you're a denier?
What is your
Definitely
take?
believe in climate change. Absolutely. You
But
guys-
like, what are the things that you notice that
Well, it's
makes
not-
you believe that climate change is happening?
I'm not going by personal experience. I'm going by what the scientific community is saying, and they seem to have a consensus that it is occurring, and it's because of CO2 emissions, correct?
And
from-
CO2 is one of the things, but I mean, you gotta give me something more juicy.
So the more juicy, so you have vehicle emissions, you have meat production,
Beef production.
meat production just in general.
So the cows they produce more CO2.
Yeah,
than
the
human
animals
beings?
do, but also just the power usage, the water
Yeah.
usage, the amount of pollution of the water. I mean, yeah.
See, one of the things is ocean acidification. It's a growing concern and result of the increase of concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
You also just have temperature changes in the water, and which causes storms.
Flooding events.
Flooding, yeah, ice caps
Flooding.
melting.
I didn't know the ocean acidification was a thing. So the ocean is getting more acidic, alkaline, acidic.
Yeah. Plus, we have
Well, everything is gonna
all
die.
the plastic in the water.
Remember what was the year? It was the last year. I don't remember. When the Amazons they were on fire,
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
and we lost significantly. Well, I mean, I say we lost because we belong to this planet, yet, and we lost a lot of forest in the Amazonas, and the Amazon is a great.
Wasn't that a man-made fire? Was that?
That was a man-made.
Yeah, but it got out of control. They weren't. They were planning to burn a small area for crops, I believe, and then it got out of control. I think was the idea.
So what do we need to do to fix it? Can we fix it? See, that's the thing I don't understand. We're trying so hard to get to Mars and spend all the money to go to Mars or go anywhere. It could be Mars, could be somewhere else. But then we're not spending enough money to fix what we need to fix on this planet.
I think there's political reasons that are preventing it from happening as well, and I think that Tesla's doing what they can to promote electric vehicles.
Look, it says here this report is being made by the Environmental Defense Fund. It's a website, it's a non-profit website, I think. I don't know if it's a non-profit, but the report says that the scientists are underpaid or not paid at all for their work. So this is one of the things that I previously talked about, why we're spending all this money to go somewhere in the
Yeah, I
space,
understand that,
and
but I
then
don't think
you don't pay
that-
your scientists. I mean, which one is more important? Saving the planet or go somewhere else?
Yeah, you're talking
a,
about the ethics of it as if there's one person making the decisions for the budget of going to Mars.
pretty much
and
like I
everything
see.
else,
What I
where
see is like the
these are
international,
disparate groups.
the international community as a one person. That's what I see.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
I know it's not how it works, but for me, like whenever I talk about these issues, I see the humankind as a one person.
Yeah, but they're different groups with different budgets trying to accomplish different things. So you can't just walk in and shut down one group and say that you guys need to start working on this other thing now. They're specialized professions, and you can't just necessarily
So
shift
you
their
have
directions.
so you have all this group that wants to go to Mars, and you have all this group that tries to
Save the
stop
planet.
climate change.
Yeah. You can't
For
just
one-
say scientists, rocket engineers, go solve this other thing
No,
instead.
no, but why one group has just a lot of money and the other one doesn't?
I don't know if they even necessarily have a ton of money.
No, they don't.
Route.
They don't. What I understand is the governments of the country they don't want to invest or they don't want to put money on the climate change proposal.
Like if you took all the money away from space travel and applied it to climate change, I don't think that would be enough money to solve the problem.
I don't think the problem is that the problem is that they don't want to pay attention. So that's why they refer to the climate change as a hoax.
Yeah, I don't
That
think
it
it's even a
doesn't
lack.
exist.
I don't think a lack of money is the problem.
I think it's more political. The agenda, the political agenda, doesn't fit.
Well, there's an infrastructure set up to use oil, and there's a lot of money in oil, and so there's a lot of lobbyists to prevent us to shift from. But also, the technology isn't exactly where it needs to be to make a quick transition. Like we're slowly, gradually moving towards solar and these different things, but we don't have the infrastructure set up, and also it could be, prohibitively expensive to set up the whole country on it or whatever.
It's not reachable yet for the regular customer.
I've heard
'Cause
people make the argument that nuclear is a more realistic direction than
But nuclear
solar.
is dangerous. That's
so,
a problem. That is
so
a
is
problem.
CO2. So, I mean, it's you can mess up and you could have a bad situation.
Because
with
we,
nuclear.
we got this experience back at the time with Chernobyl and Fukushima in Japan. So I think it's not really the answer for nuclear because it's more waste than
You got
suitable
waste, but you
for-
can kind of manage it.
So one of the problems, basically all problems are related to CO2, right? The green gas.
I don't know if I could say all, but I would say that it
part of
seems like the main
issue.
CO2
So-
emissions.
What the CO2 is doing is
It's also screwing with the atmosphere, isn't it? Or the ozone layer, which is allowing more sunlight to get in.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's allowing more. The sun heat allows to penetrate into the globe, and doesn't reflect. It's kind of like an oven, like like a steamer.
make it
Yeah, there's
warmer.
more CO2, which,
Increases the heat.
yeah, plus there's more light coming through.
So, how do we get rid of it? By planting
More trees.
trees.
Yeah.
A lot of trees.
Don't consume
I don't-
gasoline.
This is a
Yeah.
complex problem. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't
And don't
get
consume
solved by
power.
just one idea.
Yeah, how are we
Like,
going to manage yeah.
So you say meat production because of the
would
cows
help. It would help.
and the cows and are like farting too much.
That is an issue, I've heard, yeah. But it's also just energy. We should limit our energy usage.
So we put a lot of energy to feed the cows.
Takes a
That
lot.
produces CO2.
Yeah, not just cows, but a
The
lot
meat,
of
I mean.
animals, meat production, yeah.
So we're spending a lot of petroleum-based fuels to produce
you got to produce the food to give
food.
to the animals. You've got to kind of like wipe out an area, and then you've got all of their, I don't know, feces, gas, pollution. I mean, also you're pumping them full of antibiotics, and they're afraid that people will grow an immunity to biotics, which will make it really difficult for them to get surgery and all kinds of issues. So that's There's plenty of aspects of
So
meat
we shouldn't be
production.
eating meat.
Not really, no. I mean, they're working on plant-based alternatives that taste
Like meat.
like meat. And
Isn't that too kind of like dangerous by having these products? I know China made it meat like steak made out of grass,
yeah, the products are getting better.
and
It's got to be flavor and also
Texture.
price.
But it's affordable.
texture
It's
and
got to be
everything.
affordable. Yeah, I mean, texture, I would say, is part of flavor in a way, right? I don't know.
And do you think the regular public will accept it? I mean,
But isn't like, besides getting accepted, more chemicals going inside your body, that chemicals that you don't really
With meat? Or
no, for anybody's body. Like for my body, I wouldn't eat man-made steak just because of the
plants.
chemistry.
It's just, I mean, yeah,
There's gotta be some chemistry involved.
sure.
but so the animals, so they put antibiotics
Yeah,
and
both.
or on hormones, so they grow fast. How long does it take to get good meat out of the one cow, and how long? How
See,
does it take?
If you're going to talk about that, then you have to realize that one cow lifespan, how much food that cow ate
Yeah, that
To
we could
get-
be producing
to,
for us.
to get there,
Right.
to get to the slaughterhouse.
So it had to be the speed somehow. You can wait.
Well, there's
long period of time.
cultured meats.
Yeah.
So it's like lab grown meat. You don't actually have an animal. You're just like growing it cellularly, right? I think that's a better
Clone?
option. Yeah, you're pretty much cloning meat by itself without an animal.
Sound gross.
You're just growing it. Yeah, it's good though. I'm down for that. I think we should. It's popular in Singapore. I think they're doing like
I
fried
I
chicken.
think as long as they don't pump too much chemicals in there.
Yeah,
Because when you're talking about clones, I mean, there's gotta be like some sort of liquid that thing is gonna be in there, like kind of like a boiling, like and I think it's gonna grow
Yeah.
magically.
yeah.
I think the nature is wise, and that's why we have the animals, and that we have to feed them. But we need to take care of how to feed them in order to feed us, and take care of the climate at the same time. I think that's the balance that we have to create, not just this proportion that, because right now the people, they worry about how to feed or how much they're going to be feeded or how many people they're going to be feeded, and not to put it back to the nature and how to get, recycle that kind of meat, because we always consuming more. We want more, and but we don't give it back. So I think that's the problem.
What you mean, feed
We-
nature?
Yeah,
You don't
somehow.
necessarily have to. I mean, if you get rid of livestock, then
All right, but
you don't necessarily have to feed the wild animals. You just get
No,
rid
no,
of
what
the
I'm- what
amount
I'm
of
saying is-
domesticated animals, and then you
no,
don't
no.
have to
What
worry
I'm saying
about
is, if you eat twice a week, why you don't do it just once a week or once a month?
Oh, you
know?
mean meat?
Right?
Yeah. I'm trying to cut back. Pork, especially, I'm trying to cut back. I heard someone on a podcast talk about how they're one of the most intelligent animals. So, like mammals, I'm trying to move away from just slowly. I'm not going cold turkey,
Pork?
but
I
yeah,
heard,
pork.
I heard pork guts is like human.
Yeah. They're pretty similar
Right.
to us. Yeah, I mean, they're up there with dolphins in terms of.
I heard
Yeah.
I heard stories that some scientists are growing like human organs inside
Yeah.
Inside
pork.
pork?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are called like chimeras. So
Yeah.
right,
Chimera.
chimera. Yeah, they grow like livers and pancreas.
In a pork.
Hearts or
In a
something.
pork.
Genetically altering them to be more like a human so that we can harvest them for transplants. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Scary, but
Yeah.
yeah,
What are you gonna do?
but I mean, here where we live, we don't have that conscious that if you want to take care of the planet, just eat one burger a month. We don't do that.
Yeah, you can't
Who does
rely
it?
on people's ethics.
Right.
You have to rely on like pretty much government.
But people
control,
don't want
I'd
to be
say.
ruled. That's the problem. because we have this culture about freedom. So if some official tell you, okay, please don't eat, or they make you official that you have to eat, oh, we're communists, we're socialists
No,
now.
I think it would be more going after companies. You'd have to say like, okay, it's going to cost you more to produce the meat from the animal than it will from doing the plant-based, right?
Well,
So just make
eventually,
it more
eventually we're gonna get that
more
because
profitable. It's got to be more profitable to do the plant-based product.
I think like people's culture can be changed through like a massive, campaign of pumping ads on how people shouldn't be eating meat.
especially here in Florida, our officials are totally denied about the climate change and global warming. The people don't believe.
for sure.
The officials that we have in Florida, most of them, they don't believe in that.
Yeah, you got to get the politicians on board for sure.
And do like a massive campaigns on explaining people, and eventually people will get it. No,
No.
I don't think you should rely on that. I think you should make it.
how to make people conscious of what's happening through campaigns.
I mean, look at what's our percentage of vaccinations, right? I don't think you can just tell people to get it and try and convince them with scientific evidence. That's not
Yeah,
enough.
they just don't believe. They tend to believe more what a politician says about the vaccine than the scientific people.
Yeah.
So that's the truth.
I don't think scientific explanation is enough,
Is enough.
to mobilize the entire human species to the point of solving climate change. I think it's got to be, you got to get the politicians, and then you just got to have aggressive policies, but you also have to have scientists coming up with the technology to make it a more attractive route for companies.
But the companies, they don't want to lose in a policy that they make lose money to.
Yeah, right. That's why you have lobbyists. But I mean, you could have things like heavy taxation on both the end of the producer and the consumer. So just like you increase the taxes on cigarettes and you make it so expensive that people start.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, if you tax the hell out of meat,
yeah,
and
definitely.
make it more expensive, will that like?
And then you have the plant-based alternative, which tastes just as good.
But the thing is, all right, no, I'm agree with that. But the problem is, you're going to shift everything. The politicians and the companies about taxation, they're going to shift to the consumer. That's what always happened. It's been an initiative for a long time that they want to tax the carbon. So everybody or every company that use fossil fuel, they have to be taxed more. But what do? They shift that.
Tax the coal.
Yeah, tax the carbon. The carbon. Everything that is made out of carbon, out of the fossil fuel, everything that use gasoline, everything that use diesel, that use energy, everything that is produced by carbon. I mean, for coal, from name it, fossil fuel. And they're going to tax it more. You have to pay more. If you own a company based on that kind of fuel, you have to pay more. But they're going to shift the price to the consumer. So they get the taxes out of you, the regular consumer, so they can pay to the government. And I don't think that's fair.
But if you do the same thing,
you're still paying more
right?
taxes.
But if you do the same thing that they did with the cigarettes, it doesn't matter like who's paying taxes. Will that deter from people from getting the stakes? Like, it doesn't matter if the company is just gonna shift my the taxes to me. At the end consumer has the choice whether to get it or not.
I think the number one argument against plant-based proteins, like meat imitations with plant, has been that it's more expensive. So if you make it less expensive, I think more people would be doing it. There's an ethical argument that I think a lot of people are on board with, like, all right, we shouldn't be killing as many animals. They're like factory farms and stuff like that are pretty messed up. So if they just have an alternative right there that tastes just as good.
Ain't going to happen.
Options. Give me options.
Options that are less expensive and just the same in quality. I think there's going to be a lot of people, not everybody, but there will be a lot of people. I would jump on board.
I think in this way, maybe it's so radical, but I think in this way, why don't tax the guns? Why don't tax You know, if you own a gun, why you don't tax it more? Because
this is a different animal, though. Like
that's the problem.
guns are being backed up by the NRA. That is a has a political influx into how people get guns.
With the meat is the same thing. The lobbyists of the meat, they're going to say, "Oh no, we produce for America. America likes to eat meat." So it's the same thing.
But we're trying to stop that.
We tried to stop the guns too, and we didn't have any change. So I think for me that's what I'm saying. I repeat, maybe it sounds more radical, but if you got enough money and to own a gun, then you should pay more taxes instead of the stake. And if you got a big house with high end goods, you have to pay more taxes instead of the applying to the meat. And I think that will be shifting. But the problem is that the companies, they don't want be taxed more for the high ends.
But you want to do it specifically on meat to discourage them from buying it.
But the problem is, the meat problem. This is one of the problems. We have a
problem.
lot of problems.
But you're right. There are a lot of problems.
If I think like I put in a perspective of options. For instance, right now, most of everybody have a gasoline power cars and
I've heard
transport.
If you switch to an electric car, that in the long run it may be a slightly more expensive car.
Right, but you see, like
in the long run, you'll save money on fuel.
How it was like 10 years ago when the first car went into the market. It was super expensive. Like no one could afford an electric car like 7 years ago, 10 years ago.
Right.
Now they're more affordable because technology is getting cheaper.
Yeah, but it's not affordable.
But right now
it's like $30,000 Model 3, $35,000.
No, there's another option that you can, like, if you're planning to get a new car, you're gonna spend about $30,000 for a new car, brand new, right out of the dealer. Now it's an option on an electric car because they cost the same,
right?
So you can say, well, I'm just gonna get a Honda in gas power, because that's gonna be forever.
Wasn't the government giving you some money
incentives?
Right? Yeah.
But right now, you can go to a dealership, go to a Tesla or Chevy Bolt, and get that same car with the electric version of that car. It's gonna cost you probably a little bit more expensive, but it's almost about the same price. So that's the second option. Like you're gonna have to drive a gas powered car for the next 10 years, or an electric one.
You save money on maintenance too.
Okay,
so
what I'm saying is there is already an option. So if in that perspective, when you go to the store and you see this meat, there is not like a lot more expensive, but a little bit more expensive than the other one. At least people have that option to get it. Right now, there is no option.
Yeah, okay.
There's options.
Well, there are options.
Not that many.
Not the meat, though. I mean, for meat eaters,
not that many. Like Beyond Burger.
But it's not really a necessity.
That is not a real meat.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like meat, like
where you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
But it's not really a necessity that you have to eat meat every week.
No, but that's the culture thing.
That's what,
all right.
We
So
got to meet the demand.
we're dealing with different animals.
Meet the demand.
So back to electric cars. It's fine. All right. You can get a cheaper car. Whatever they say is cheaper. I don't think it's cheap yet.
Yeah.
Hold on. But if you are a self-contractor, if you work on your own and you have a, let's say, taco truck, it's not available. Electric taco truck. If you want to start your own business, if you're a painter, you can get out a van with electric.
Yeah, vans aren't really a thing.
So
trucks are coming.
So I'm not worried
trucks
about.
Are coming. No, everything. There is a whole lineup of electric cars.
There will be vans.
All right, but how much it's going to cost you, and how much you have to charge the people to use in the car? I've seen it. Don't crucify me yet. Don't.
It'll take.
Don't
time.
throw my
It's
stone.
not immediately.
Yeah,
It'll
but this is the hardcore. This is the bone. This is the backbone of the economy. So the people that every day get their car and get to work and work out of the car. So not as many people, they use the car just for leisure, just for back and forth from work to home.
And then if you have like India, how are you going to get everyone there on electric cars? Like you've got a lot of
If they were
the
cheaper,
developing world.
if they were cheaper, why the officials in our county, where they instead of use police cars or SUVs or whatever, they use gasoline, what
I
they
think
don't
they're
shift
trying
to the electric.
I think governments
cars.
are trying to in certain areas. I think
That
in
would be a good
California-
incentive, at least in the big cities,
Well,
to
I
patrol.
see, the thing is, I think we're gonna get there. We're just moving in so slow pace. Then you don't see really anything changing from one day to other. But I think we're moving in that direction. I mean, from 10 years from now, you're gonna see like interceptors electric, and you're gonna see more. Like right now, the parking enforcement, they have electric cars.
Electric cars. Yeah, I know.
I mean, you didn't see that back like 5 years ago. You
To
still
collect-
yeah. They're giving you tickets.
collect money out of
I
you.
think it would be good if we had solar panels on everyone's houses as much as
I think
we can.
we have a hard conscience on this, man. It's going to be difficult to make the shift on
But see-
people. If you own a boat, if you are a wealthy guy, wealthy man, wealthy family, and you own a big boat, and you have to move to the electric, maybe you will do it. But that's not the point. Most of the people, they get used to have those kind of things, and they keep thinking, okay, I can afford it, so I will have it and I will keep it. I don't want to do what the other people tell me to do just because it's not good. Because I own the money and I am entitled to do it. That's
Well,
the problem.
If you can make the initial investment in solar panels for your building, then you will save money in the long run, right? So there's an initial investment, but you can power your whole building with solar, and if you have an excess of power, you can sell it back to the city. So you'll end up profiting eventually, saving money.
I would like to see the chains, the restaurants, let's say a McDonald's or name it one, Wendy's, whatever.
Yeah, they should
use
start powering.
solar power in it.
Yeah,
I would like to see that.
yeah.
But remember, like last podcast, we were talking about generational problems.
Sure.
About
That's another thing.
like
You're about to start blaming me for this?
no. Yeah, man. No, like how the generation mentality changes over time.
Right.
Like my generation was better than the previous, and the previous was better than the previous.
Oh, I
and
thought you were
so
saying
on
that
and
we're
so on.
worse.
No, I don't think
No, it was
worse.
It was. I
Certain
think how
aspects.
like a better ethics.
Okay.
But you see, like last podcast we were talking about, I think this greenhouse issue and this climate change, I think it goes hand to hand with generations. The newer generations have is more conscious about the climate change than the previous.
Right. You're right.
Like
yeah.
you just mentioned about like most of the government officials are old.
Yeah.
And they don't really believe about what's happening with the greenhouse. I mean, they kind of believe, but they say, well,
It's not affect me.
It's not gonna affect me soon enough. I'm gonna be dead, and these people, the young people, they have to deal with whatever. I'm just gonna go to a store and buy a steak, and the newer generations, because they know they're gonna be here for a while, they have to deal with this thing, and they are now like thinking about making the change. So generational answers are more hand to hand with the problems that we're facing right now, because they just have to deal with it. So they're making the change. Us, yeah, we can try, but not really, because we didn't grow up thinking with these issues, that we're facing right now. It's just the way it is. I don't think you're gonna see a drastic change on your time, because it's just you don't have the culture, you don't have enough information to make the change.
Well, there are some things that you can adapt. I'm not saying that all are deniers, and there is some places that they can offer you. They no longer offer you, a straw, a plastic straw. They offer you alternate one like a paper. So I think if this kind of initiatives goes a long way or spread around let's say this locally area, like every restaurant in town, they offer you some edible straw. Could be a little bit more expensive, right? But I think it will be affordable and it will be a great impact in the change of the climate
So
change.
what are the things that you noticed that you didn't have before towards climate change? What do you think is the electric car was one of the things that
Electric car producing less meat, I think, are both good starts. I don't know if it's enough, but solar power, switching to renewable energy.
you have solar power? No, you don't have solar power.
Do you change your light bulbs in your home?
Yeah, that's a good example of, fluorescent lights or the LEDs require less energy. And it saves you money. The less energy you use, or the more efficient the things you use, and the more that you're capable of producing your own energy, helps the environment and saves you money. So there's an incentive.
Right.
If I owned my own house, I would look into investing in solar for sure, but I don't. If I move into an apartment or whatever, I'm not going to have any say in it. But if I had the say, I would definitely invest.
Human activities have increased the concentration of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, amplifying Earth's natural greenhouse effect. See, this is the human activities is the worst.
All right.
Transportation,
It is human activity. that's
transportations and all that burning, gas burning.
causing this. Yeah, it's our fault. It wouldn't be happening without human civilization.
No, volcanoes have a thing to do too.
Yeah, but not at the rate.
Wildfires.
Not at the rate that we're doing it.
No, because we do this every day. I mean, how many times you see a volcano just going off? Not
Yeah.
everyday thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we're across the whole planet pumping it out just in our roads.
Well, we've been,
and just-
affected by it.
How much do you think we have on gas left in this planet? Worth
enough
of gas
for a long time.
I think we got plenty, yeah.
for gas
Yeah.
for fossil fuels.
oil.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got a lot. We'll eventually run out, but we still got a lot.
I think with the fossil fuel, there will be. I wish that we have just an alternative, that another kind of power take over, and that will be less expensive for us. And in case we run out of that, just like an a hybrid car, you run on your battery. When you run out, then you use the gasoline.
But isn't having an electric car the same thing that having a gas car? I mean, you're gonna charge the car in your house, but then your house is
Using
gonna be
fossil fuels, yeah.
powered by fossil fuels. So that defeats the purpose.
I think it's slightly more efficient because it's going to cost you less to do it through the electricity.
And you're going
home
to
than it
use
was the
less fossil fuel to power your house than your car. I think so.
Yeah, unless you're charging it through the house. Yeah, I think it is better. But if you can get the solar power, that's even better.
So
A lot
the
better.
solar is gonna be probably the better alternative.
I think it's good. I mean, as long as you're willing to do the initial investment, it seems to be better all around. You can power your whole home with solar power, and you can have an excess. You can power your home and your car and sell it. So
I think we have the technology to power our houses with solar. It's just too expensive, and
just the investment,
I
initial
look
investment.
into those battery packs that they say they promise to power your whole house
yeah,
for 24 hours. But you have to have a lot of solar panels too.
Right.
yeah,
To,
a lot of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
to
but if they
fill
become
those packs.
if they become more efficient, smaller, cheaper.
But the long run. But
Yeah.
right now it's not affordable. I mean, it is not, even when it's incentive, most of the companies, I think, and I'm sure of this, they say, okay, you don't give it so much incentive because we're going to lose money. We're going to lose the lobby, and we're going to lose the lobby and the government, so we cannot, provide you for your campaign or whatever. So I think that's what happened. Most of the companies, they use the fossil fuels. They don't want to, give up to the solar or completely say, oh no, we have to shift to electric because solar
Just be
is better.
competitors. It would just be the
They don't
free
want to
market.
lose.
It'll just be the free market. If it becomes more profitable to sell solar alternatives,
But
They just see
for
the
the
money, like-
for the consumers, no, for the owners.
Okay, so at the rate that we're moving with new technology, how long you guys think that we're gonna see more solar in the houses?
I think if it's an easy, affordable product like an iPhone or something, it'll be trendy, and you just have like
Well,
a
iPhone is
small
not
solar
affordable.
panel, small battery, and that's enough to power everything. Then I think people would go for that.
$1,000.
But how
phone
long
is
you
not,
like? How long you like? We moving in such a slow pace towards that.
I don't know. I don't even know how much time we have left to really make these big changes. I don't know whether
Well,
we'll
they
be
say that they
successful
were
or not.
reaching.
I'm just kind of talking about what we should be doing, but I don't know.
But the scientists are saying that we are right on the breaking point of no return.
I've heard people say we're already past that.
Let's see. So
Elon Musk has said that we still have time, but I've heard other people say like, yeah, we kind of already messed up.
Well, the last 4 years they were wasted because nobody did nothing because just the president didn't believe or
Yeah.
he still doesn't believe in it.
politicians are one of the rocks in the way to move forward with this policy, because some of those they don't believe on climate change, some of those they're not concerned because they all, and some of those are being lured by lobbyists, and so they don't want to do anything because personal preference and personal gain.
But most of the time they block the initiatives because they say it is a hoax. There is no way to put the money on it because it's just waste. And that's the problem. If I don't care, just the people, they can make changes because I don't care. Say, okay, do whatever you want. Maybe I believe, maybe I don't believe, but I don't want to obstruct you. But the problem is they say no, they obstruct. They say, "Oh no, I don't want to vote just because I don't believe, and I think it's a waste of time and it wastes resources."
Can you name a politician that are going pro climate change against
Addressing climate change? Biden.
The ex-president Barack Obama, it was a huge, and still,
Pretty much
and
the
still,
Democrats.
and
It seems
still.
to be a pretty hard line between
Well,
Democrats
Al
and
Gore,
Republicans.
and back in the day, he made a
film.
about that.
Yeah, he was a little bit wrong, but some of the
But it was
projections
the
were a little-
old. It was the old, people that get involved in this and they make aware.
It was
of the
good that he
public.
made aware. Yeah, the projections were a little tighter than they ended up being, but we're starting to see the problems that he was
Because
predicting.
it's just like we've been talking about the new generation, about millennials. If you ask any congresses that is 30 years old or maybe in their 40s, they're gonna believe in the climate change. If you ask somebody that is 50 years old, they will say probably, but it's not my case. So
They're not concerned enough to make the move.
here, okay, we got this example here in Florida. The Senator Marco Rubio, he doesn't believe in climate change or global warming, and we're having this problem in Miami. With the buildings are collapsing, and I think so. They have to do something with the climate change and with the floodings and the coastline around Florida.
Yeah, floodings are going to be a real problem. Not
I
just
think
in
this is-
Florida, but I mean, we got to talk about like China and India. It can't just be the U.S. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's all over the world. It's not just
Yeah.
Florida. It's just all over the world. And
Asia
they've been predicted. The
causes
scientific
a lot of pollution.
Okay, let's not talk about climate change or global warming. Let's say that. Okay, let's ignore it for a moment. But the scientific data shows that it is somewhere in between 20 and 50 years, a significant part of the Florida is going to be flooded.
Mm-hmm.
And or along the coastline, along the subways. I mean, the Keys, they're going to disappear because they're going to be underwater. Part of Miami, half of Miami, they're going to be underwater around the East Coast. And what is causing this? Is nature, or we causing it?
No, we're causing it.
But that is a fact. This scientific data is there. So if we don't address the climate change, okay, it's fine, but we have to do something, to prevent that. Because that people are going, where it's going to live.
I think that I would say that there's no way of stopping that at this point. I don't think.
I think we cannot reverse, but I think we can do something to not get worse.
I think those areas are going to get flooded. I don't think there's anything we can do within the time that we have to protect those coastlines from flooding.
I really believe that was or were one of those causes that building collapsed, and I think they're more involved that we don't know yet. And by the way, it's not a critic. I don't want to say this because I'm an expert or because I don't know, but I think they take it too long to get these people out of there. I don't know. I think it was like a slow response.
Well, someone is going to own those properties, right? So people already own it, and you could say, "Well, get out." Well, the only way they got to sell it to someone else. So then you have the same problem. You have someone living there. Or what are they going to do? Just abandon those properties? Those properties are right on the water. They're expensive properties. So you're going to say, like, just abandon it? Just abandon all of Miami or, like, the coast of Miami with all those millions of... I mean, what do you do? They're just going to sit on it until it floods. Or someone's going to own it until it floods.
Right.
So if we don't do anything, let's pretend that we don't care.
What do you do? What do you do?
No, but let's say like we don't care about climate change. We're not going to do anything. So how do you see the world?
Like what's the worst case scenario?
Like people living in caves?
No. But it'll just force us to change our infrastructure.
The way we consume.
Force us to.
I think the way we consume. I think if we consume less, we're going to keep the...
If we don't do anything, like, do you think that a lot of people are going to die because of food shortages and wars?
No.
Yeah? Because
I think we'll figure out food.
If the planet gets too hot, so you can't harvest anything.
No, you have biospheres. You have biospheres.
You can, right now, there was this initiative...
create your own climate in like a factory setting.
Yeah, right.
Just lab stuff.
There is a company right now, I don't remember the name. I saw it. There is a company that is sell you the pre-made... You can grow your own crops in your home.
Yeah. It'll just be indoor.
Indoor related.
Production.
So for the people that live in apartments, they can have their own crops. You can grow like tomatoes and chilies and eggplants inside of your home without big concentration of gases and kind of thing. So I think we're gonna move little by little
more
to that
and more
kind
indoors. I mean, if you can have a base on the
but
moon
how can you
or
be
Mars,
indoors? It's gonna be too hot.
No. It's climate
AC.
control. You got the AC.
Yeah, but the AC
you got
runs
light.
out of power, and there is no power.
solar.
Well,
it will consume less. And
solar AC.
And we're gonna
you pump in
remember
light from the sky.
Remember, I said like if nobody does anything. I think the whole thing about climate change
people get left behind, but that'll be where people are pushing.
What I'm saying is
people with money. That's what they're going to be doing.
If we don't do anything, and just everything goes to hell,
there'll be problems, a lot of problems.
I feel like the culprit of the problem is overpopulation. I think we have to kill half of the world.
No, just come on. We talk about this, the year ago before the pandemic when they started. Remember one of those podcasts we have about when the first cases of the COVID-19 in China, right? We covered this.
I've heard conspiracy theories.
Right, about it was a man-made and it was to control population. So that's what it is, and there will be more earthquakes because the nature knows how to control us. Even when we think in charge, I think the nature is in control of us. So that's what I believe. There's more hurricanes because we overpopulated areas that we don't belong to us.
Don't you think like we're right now almost 7 billion people? Right?
I think
more than that.
8 something.
8 billion people?
Yeah.
It used to be 6. Damn, we're growing fast.
Well, we're fast. Families, back in the day, they have like 10 children.
7 billion, 800 million to 7.8 billion.
Okay, so what's the tipping point of overpopulation? See, that's one of the things I always been interested on, like how long do we have food for to feed all these billions and billions of people that have been just being born.
I think that we have enough food. We don't have the balance. I mean,
But see, like
there is
that-
one.
that's- yeah, but that's that's one of the things. Like as we grow on people, then we have to grow our production. By growing our production, then we need more fossil fuels to grow our production, more foods being harvested, and to move all those industries, we need fossil fuels.
No. I think we
Then-
produce
and
enough.
Then the consequence of that is green gas.
No.
See,
If we I think we produce
Right?
enough food.
Population increase affects,
yeah.
All right,
for
but
sure.
okay,
It's related.
yeah, but
It's
the
related,
problem is
yeah.
that
Of course it's related.
one part of the population consume more than the rest.
But it doesn't matter, you still have to produce food for those people.
No, we produce
So that's
more
how-
food for one part of the population.
But that's
that
how
we
trade.
left behind.
That's how trade works. The things that you don't have, you trade the things you have for the things you don't have. So
if you consume more,
yeah, if you produce, okay, if you're a fisherman,
all right,
you go in the boat, which the boat uses fossil fuels to move.
Okay.
So you have to buy gas to go in the boat and fish crab.
Yeah.
So you go there, fish a bunch of crab, but then you just can't eat crab all day and every day. So you go to the market and trade. Like, okay, I give you this crab for corn because I need corn
Right.
and I need flour. So those people have a lot of flour, which they also use fossil fuels to grow the wheat and transform it. And then you get the flour, and then you give up your crab, and that's how trade works. Some people have massive amounts of flour, some people have massive amounts of
Right.
wheat, corn, whatever, and they just trade. But all of them, absolutely, all of them use fossil fuels to produce that.
Yeah, and
Okay.
everyone is constantly increasing the amount of more products and services are reaching into the developing world. Whether we have more, they have less. Like everyone's increasing.
yeah, but we were talking about population,
Right.
So that my point is, we have more consumer people in one side of the plate than the rest of the world. So let's say America is a consumer country, Canada, United Kingdom, name it. Big countries, they consume more than the rest of the other poor countries.
But that's irrelevant for what we're saying, because we still have to produce for those consumer nations than for the others. There's still trade.
So why we blame the population then, the overpopulation? Why we blame it?
Because the more population that the country has, more production that is needs to feed the population.
More people, more CO2.
Yeah.
Why is that? Just
See,
easy as that.
look, if you put together 1 billion people to fart, that's a big as fart. Right?
Nah, I'd say fossil fuels
See?
and
Then, okay, like
production.
your family is about 5 people.
Okay.
They fart at the same time. Fucking nasty. But then the other
Destroys the
family,
earth.
the other family is a 20 members. The fart is a big as fart, bigger than yours, because yours is only 5.
Okay, all right. There was this initiative back in Africa when they tried to put solar panels, in the remote parts of the Africa when there is no access to the fossil fuel or no like we have in the eastern countries, right? So it's too expensive for them to live and to keep up with the solar because they cannot afford it. They don't have the infrastructure to buy more and produce. So they become consumers too, right? So this initiative, that was great, but it's a lack of the conscious, because the people that live in, remote parts of the Africa, they rely on only one refrigerator for, let's say, 100 people around. Okay. So if we have, I don't think so. If we have this kind of initiative back in the consumer countries, that would be different.
Look.
If we have, hear me out. If we have this initiative, let's say we want to power all the schools in America with solar panels or con wind power.
It can be done. We just don't have the effort to do it fast.
Money.
Yeah.
All right. So
Look, I'm gonna. Okay. When I was a kid, it was just my dad, my mom, and 3 brothers. Okay, and we didn't have a truck. We didn't have a car. So we moved using, horses and shit, right? Okay. And we didn't produce a lot of green gas because we just didn't have cars. We didn't have fossil fuel power washers and lawn mowers. We used to use our machetes and shit. So what kind of green gas we produce? Just the farts, that we were doing.
What about the fertilizers?
No, nothing.
Just pure?
Yeah.
So what do they eat? What do the cows eat?
They were eating grass, but the wild grass. So that grass didn't require any fossil fuels because you take it to the mountains and eat the grass, the wild grass. Wild grass is wild. You don't need anything to just rain.
So we need to back to that kind of era.
So what I'm saying is we didn't produce enough green gas. Now, in reference from when I was a kid to now, most of the families own a car. Mm-hmm. Most of the families, they don't harvest their own food. They all go buy. Because now there is more job opportunities. So a lot of the members of that family go to the cities and work as graphical designers, journalists. So they don't grow their food. They go to the supermarket and buy. Because they have the power to do it. So now those people are creating or making more green gas than us when I was a kid. Because they all have cars. They all have Nintendos and game consoles. And they all have power washers and lawn mowers. You see, that's
modernized.
They are more modern than I was. So therefore, they're producing more green gas because they use more technology and they lazy as fuck.
What about this
Better
climate
life,
change?
though. Better quality of life. Right?
Yeah, but the
requires...
climate change we now are aware, but it's been happening for centuries.
Yeah, but this is just my family. So multiply that for thousands and thousands of families that are doing that across the world. That's a lot of fucking green gas.
Yeah,
and a lot because of a lot of people.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Has an impact.
So the culprit of the problem is people. Yeah, that's what it is, man. It's overpopulation, and they all want iPhones, across the board,
Of course.
And to produce iPhones, it requires gas.
Yeah.
I don't think even China. I don't think those people in China are producing the iPhones in the mountains. They probably have like a lab type buildings, right?
Oh, it's gigantic factories.
Yeah. And
gigantic.
And they all use power and air conditionings and all that stuff.
24 an hour, right? 24 hours.
Yeah,
they work.
They 24/7.
Yeah.
Never sleep.
Yeah, no. They got shifts.
They have like they have.
They got
3 shifts, like from 8 to 4,
Something,
4
yeah.
to
They'll just sit there and
11,
do the
11
same
to
task
it's
over and
constantly.
over and
It's
over
a
again.
24/7 production.
I think the people they live in their
they have
facilities.
They have dorms.
Yeah.
See,
a lot of them, yeah.
But see, those plants, they use power, to power the air conditioning, the food. I mean, do you think like they there and they don't need anything? No, they have to buy food, and that food comes from somewhere.
So if we stop buying the kind of stuff, they want to stop producing it?
That's never going to happen. We're not going to lose our technology. We just have to find more sustainable ways of producing.
Sustainable. That's the word.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sustainable.
We find the key.
Yeah, we'll find the key.
Yeah, we're
Kill
not
everybody.
There's no way we're going to let go
Remember-
of our technology.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
No, but we really need to look into population, like Europe did. We need to decrease population. We don't need to make more babies.
Stop having children.
I think it's going to be difficult, and they're going to people sooner or later they're going to migrate. Just because the climate change of the opportunity to survive, not just to grow, just to survive. We see this in Central America. The people are flooding, to Mexico, back to here.
That's another problem of overpopulation.
That's demographic problem too.
Yeah. Words.
No, the overpopulation is the issue. All the problems that we have is overpopulation. That's the answer.
That's one of the key.
Yes.
I don't think so, but it's one of them.
Like, you can't find a job. Why? Because too many people looking for a job. You can feed yourself because there's a lot of people.
But there is chance for everybody, and there is a place for everybody. So
Yeah, but
I
think like over the time, especially like on the modern times, because it's easier for you to have kids, and then everybody's having kids.
But the millennials, they're known for not having kids.
Yeah.
So this generation, this
I
next
think
generation,
we might
like,
actually have a negative.
wine and see, yeah, they
negative
will
birth
have
rate right
less
now.
kids.
Yeah.
But we need that desperately. Look again with the generations. These millennials, and what's the next generation?
Gen and
Gen
Z.
Z.
Okay, all these guys are more thoughtful how to see. They more concerned about population. So we'll probably see a decrease of population in the next generations because of the problems that we have now.
Probably.
I mean, Jay Cooper doesn't think that having kids is a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think that's for ethical reasons, though. I think it's just because I'm selfish and I don't want to have to deal with taking
part of
care
that,
of
yeah.
anybody. It's more a lifestyle choice than an ethical one.
No, but it's part of the generation. It's part of the set mind of the generation. Most of the millennials and Gen Z, they think that way. They don't think in the parameters that we thought about it, 4 years ago.
With all these problems that we have, and apparently there is no solution. If there is one, then we are far from it. And I think that this is time for the aliens just to come and take over,
Consume less.
right? And just
Yeah.
kill everybody.
Consume less. Don't use your car. Less.
Nah, I don't think
See, that's the problem.
responsibility is not the answer.
Well, it's part of it. It's part of the
It's
answer,
a
man.
technological answer.
It's part of it.
You gotta have responsibility on a larger scale, not on. You can't ask the individual to change.
Why not?
It's not enough.
Well, it's not enough, but it's start.
No,
No,
you can't expect the individual to make the decision. You gotta.
It has to be like
It's got to be the better option for them. You got to change it to where that is the better option.
See,
Same
that's
thing with
the thing
meat.
that I was referring about steaks. All right, you have this cow that died 4 days ago. That's a steak, and then you have this other steak that is
Plant-based.
plant-based that it's just there. But it's an option. It's okay.
Right
this
next
is,
to each
yeah,
other
right
on the
next,
shelf.
right next to each other. So, okay, so this is $4. This is $5. I'll take the $5. I consciously.
Yeah, I think in grocery stores it shouldn't be like, here's the meat section and then here's the plant-based section over here. They should just be, it's like soy milk and milk. You don't have to refrigerate the soy milk, but it's right there in the refrigerator next to each other.
Okay, let's say if we would do this campaign about meat, just like the cigarettes, big label on the package, like say this cigarette cause cancer. So what about if we put in the package of meat? This meat cause, can be kill you. Something like that.
This meat was originally a cow that was happy in the green
right, and we don't live
mountains
there.
of Greenland.
A picture of a cow with a frowny face.
This steak costs you like 10 parts of the cow that is.
You killed me, you murdered me, son of a bitch.
Yeah, but we don't do that, right? So we're gonna get to the supermarket and buy a big steak, and we're gonna eat it.
In certain parts of Europe, they'll just have like a big white thing, and it just says "smoking kills" in all caps.
Oh yeah,
black text on white.
Yeah, we don't do that in like soda cans, and for kids and say, oh, this is bad for you, kid. We don't do that.
So how about the steak with the disclosure of the cow face and say, "You murder me."
Just a picture of an animal, just like hanging from a hook.
Yeah.
I used to be a happy cow.
So the people can be aware whether this is real, whether I like it or not, whatever your official is Republican or Democrat.
Okay.
It's real. We said it. We said it in this podcast too.
We solved the problem.
Population is a problem.
Stop having children.
Yeah.
Stop eating meat. Start driving cars.
Invest in the solar. Electric
All right,
cars.
this has been Common Sense Podcast with Lex Marshall, JT, and Jay Cooper. Please watch
Thank you
us.
for having us. Yeah.
YouTube. We post every Tuesday. Try to post new episodes and tell us what you think.
We accept
Give us a
donations.
like and
And we likes. We like
Subscribe to our
likes and
YouTube channel.
subscribe.
and watching Jordan Cooper perform on Pornhub. You have a blast.
People will believe that he's really on Pornhub.
I should probably build actually make a page.